The Isle of Wight County School Board is now in session. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. It's 5 p.m. We are holding this meeting at Smithfield High School in the auditorium at 14171 Turner Drive in Smithfield, Virginia. We're preparing students for college, career, and life. Madam Secretary, please take roll call.
Mr. Wooster? Mrs. Perkins?
Here.
Mr. Wooster?
Here.
Mr. Marsh?
Here.
Mr. Ford?
Here.
Mr. Colick?
Here. Next, we'll have the approval of the agenda or amendments for closed session.
I move to amend the agenda for closed session to add business matter 2026-04 and approve the agenda for closed session as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Colick?
Yes. Next, we'll have the approval of the agenda or amendments for open session.
I move to amend the agenda to add business matter 2026-04 to the agenda for open session and approve the agenda for open session as amended.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Colick?
Yes. And next, we'll have the motion to go into closed session.
I move to go into closed session to review the personnel report posted on board docs under personnel tab number 18.1 as authorized by VA Code 2.2-3711A1 for purposes of discussion and consideration of prospective candidates of Isle of Wight Public Schools for employment, contract changes, transfers, salary adjustments, supplemental contracts, deletions, supplemental pay, resignations of Isle of Wight County Public Schools employees, and to discuss and consider specific candidates for a central office position as authorized by VA Code 2.2-3711A1, and to discuss the acquisition of land for purposes of school construction where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body as authorized by VA Code 2.2-3711A3.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Colick?
Yes. And Madam Clerk, do we have anyone requesting to speak in closed session?
No, sir.
The board is in closed session. We have the certification of the resolution of compliance.
I move that the closed meeting was conducted in conformity with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act as required by Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia, and certify that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements were discussed, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Colick?
Yes. Next, we'll have a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Vice Chair.
And now for the moment of silence. And now, could you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. I apologize for the sudden change in venue. As most of you probably know, we have some cooling issues over at West Side, so at the last minute, we decided to hold it here. Looks like we have an awful lot on the agenda, so without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to the Isle of Wight Achievers, Mrs. Briggs.
Thank you, Mr. Colick. Let's see. I do have a PowerPoint. I don't know if it can be displayed up there. Since I'm going first, we'll see what happens. There we are. Okay. While that's queuing up, let me just state that the vision for Isle of Wight County Schools is to create a learning environment that will enable every child to discover his or her unique gifts and talents. The Isle of Wight Achievers section of our board meeting gives us an opportunity to recognize and celebrate our students and staff for their unique talents and gifts. So before we get started, since this is a little bit different, what I'm going to ask, I have Miss Susan Getz, our Deputy Superintendent of Instruction. She's going to come and assist with this. The students being recognized and staff being recognized tonight should already have their certificates. When your name is called, come on down to the front with your certificate. Mrs. Getz is going to hand you an Achiever's pin, and then if you will line up in front facing the board so they can see you while we're recognizing your group. Then after we get through the last person in your group, we're going to have your group go over to the backdrop for a photo, and Mr. David Elliott is going to come down to get a picture of your group. Family members and friends that are here tonight, if you have someone being recognized, that is the perfect time to come down and get a picture. That's the perfect time to come down and get a picture. So we are going to start with our beta clubs. Where am I aiming this? And we have beta clubs from several of our schools being recognized tonight. These students earned top honors at the 2026 Virginia State Beta Convention. They competed against some of the best from across the Commonwealth and represented our division with excellence, creativity, and determination. And we're going to start with Windsor High, and I'm going to ask sponsor Jennifer Davis to come on down. And while she's doing that, I'll remind you that this is a very busy time of year for spring sports. So oftentimes when we recognize our high school students, you may not see many of them here in person. Please read nothing into that other than these students are busy and are at soccer games and baseball, softball. So we still want to recognize them publicly for their accomplishments. So Ms. Davis, you come on up. And I'm going to read the place, the category, and the student's name. And if you'll I'm just going to kind of roll through them. If you're here when I say your name, come forward. We had third place in the poetry test, Alejandra Miranda. Third place in the Quilling Art Division 1, Derry Lynn Smith. Third place in 11th grade U.S. History test, Hunter Stingle. Third place, Agri-Science 12th grade test, Brock Rogers. Third place, Living Literature display, Lana Janis, Alana Williams, Haley Pierce, Lily Anson, Zachary Sharp, Brock Rogers, Madison Lacey, Bristol Stallings, Kendall Jones, Emma Weimer, Diana Gonzalez Amaya. Third place in robotics, Braden Harris, Ryan Farrell, Haley Pierce, Zachary Sharp, Riley Janis and Brock Rogers. Second place, Math 9th grade test, Carly Bradshaw. Second place, 10th grade Spanish test, Diana Gonzalez Amaya. Second place, Language Arts 10th grade test, Jamison Stone. Second place, Quilling Art Division 2, Margaret Bachman. Second place, 11th grade Social Studies test, Braden Harris. Second place, Spanish 12th grade test is Stephanie Jacome. First place, Health and PE academic test, Jake Nolan. First place, Mixed Media Art Division 1, Kendall Jones. First place, Sculpture Division 1, Jacob Moore. And first place, my favorite category once again, on-site cake decorating, Division 2, Kimberly Fridley. Now, do we have all your folks here today, Ms. Davis, that were with us? Did they make it down? All right. Well, we want to congratulate the Windsor High team, the club, for doing so well. And we're going to ask you guys to come on over here to the backdrop. Did everybody get a pen? Yep. All right, come on over right to the backdrop. Yep. And while they're doing that, I just want to put a plug in. I know Chef Horn is here from Culinary, so I know you're writing down the name of the on-site cake decorating winner, right? You got that? Yeah, got it. Okay, yes. All right. All right, we are going to move on to Georgie Tyler Middle School. The sponsors from Georgie Tyler are April Griffith, sponsors April Griffith, and co-sponsors Christina Parsons and Jennifer Rickman. So I know Ms. Griffith is here. If the sponsors are here, come on down. And we'll start recognizing the students. Third place, Visual Arts Mixed Media, Hannah Holloman. Third place, Robotics, Charlie Clements, Christopher Fike, David Zhang, Chase Doolin, Jacob Clements, Adam Rogers, and Brentley Berry. Second place, Computer Science, 6th grade, Brentley Berry. Second place, Science, 6th grade, Jacob Morris. Second place, Computer Science, 7th grade, Justin Moore. Second place, English, 8th, Teresa Albright. Second place, Spelling, 8th, Adelina Buells. Second place, Performing Arts Solo, Lily Mooring. Second place, On-Site Art, Ileana Hodgkiss. Second place, Visual Arts Woodworking, Connor Smith. Second place, Living Literature, Tenley Marsh. Is Tenley here? Oh, darn. Okay. Tenley Marsh, Hadley Pierce, Carrie Gribble, Olivia Linville, Jane Goodrich, Leah Snelling, Ainsley Boyd, Journey Dixon, Madison Williams, Kennedy Moody, Haley Marshall. And first place, Visual Arts Sculpture, Justin Moore. First place, PE Health 8th, Edward Jaffa. First place, Science, Araya Benjamin. And first place, Technology, Amelia Spencer, McKinley Douglas, and Charlie Clements. Did we get them all? We got a couple coming? Oh, yay. We'll wait for you. Well, we want to congratulate. Yes. Yep. We congratulate our team from Georgie Tyler. Congratulations on doing such a great job. And they're going to get their photo taken. Once again, any family, friends that want to come down and get a photo, if you would just stay behind Mr. Elliott for a minute. We promise we will not let them leave until you get your picture. Everybody good? Wait. Nope, not yet. Hang on. I promised. Okay, thank you. Congratulations once again. And now, Windsor Elementary School. Our sponsors are Emily Bradshaw and Chris Ann Hardison. And now for our students. Third place, Social Studies, Reed Judkins. We've got third place, Language Arts, Abigail Spencer. Third place, Painting, Peyton Ambrose. Third place, Quilling, Lana Horn. Second place, Solo, Mason Daughtry. Second place, Recyclable Art, Camden Seward. Second place, Digital Art, Anson Barker. First place, Pottery, Paisley Wheeler. First place, Mixed Media, Grayson Seward. First place, Jewelry, Harper Kale. First place, Sculpture and Best in Show, Ryan Gray. First place, Technology, Owen Godfrey. Michael Kelly, Aries Bruning, Wyatt Vanderbrake, Calvin Bradshaw. First place, Marketing, Avery Kellish. Oh, you know what? Stretch out in front of me. Just watch that cord a little bit. Yeah, we want to make sure you have plenty of space. Yep. Okay, wait. Where was I? First place, Marketing, Avery Kellish, Aaron Speed, Isla Stilson, Calvin Bradshaw. First place, 2D Design, Jackson Deach, Brooklyn Bryant, Cooper Kessinger. And first place, 3D Design, Aubrey Evans, Landon Hewitt, and Rylan Brock. Do we get all of our Windsor friends?
Absolutely. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Who am I missing?
Some people aren't here.
Oh.
That's okay. Yeah, they're not here.
Did we get everybody that's here?
Yes.
Okay. You scared me. Woo. Woo! All right. Well, we want to congratulate our Windsor Elementary friends, whether they're here or not, on doing so great. Yay! So let's have you go over to the backdrop. Yep. And we'll get a group picture. Once again, family, friends, that's your cue. Oh my God.
Because they weren't here.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
want to
I tell you
send them
what,
to us?
email me.
Email you and just send it to
And
them.
I will send them.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. It's not like we're in school.
All right. All right, don't move yet. We see a lot of people there waiting for a photo. Come on down, come on down. A lot of friends. Uh-oh. We got a few more. It's a big group.
That's a big group.
Are we good? Yay! Congratulations, Windsor Elementary. And now our friends from Carsville Elementary. Sponsors are Sonia Bradshaw and Aaron Seward. Yay! Come on down, ladies. And our students that are being recognized: second place drawing, Simon Lewis, and second place on-site painting, Serenity Schilt. Second place performing arts solo instrumental piano, Samuel St. Peter. First place poetry, Miranda Ward. First place digitally enhanced photography, Nola May. And first place accessorized design, Miranda Ward and Samuel St. Peter. We get them all?
Yep.
Oh, congratulations, Carsville.
We're gonna go take a
Yep.
picture.
Come over this way. And while they're over there getting their picture taken, I just want to say we are so proud of all of our students and the ones that place that we recognized here tonight and their sponsors. Your hard work, talent, and commitment to excellence make Isle of Wight County Schools incredibly proud. Please join me in congratulating all of our 2026 Virginia State Beta Convention winners and their dedicated sponsors, and especially those that took time to come out tonight. Thank you so much. Okay. Next, we're moving on to Windsor High School. We're going to recognize a few athletes from Windsor High School's wrestling. The wrestling team had some outstanding accomplishments this year. At the regional level, several student athletes earned top placements in highly competitive weight classes. When I call your name, please come forward. Bryce May placed fourth in the 132-pound division, earning a spot as a state alternate. Mason Greenwood placed fourth in the 285-pound division, also earning a position as a state alternate, while Logan Powell finished second in the 190-pound division, qualifying for the state tournament. At the state level, Logan continued his strong performance, finishing, and if y'all face the board, okay, face the board. Logan continued his strong performance, finishing sixth in the state in the 190-pound weight class, an impressive achievement among Virginia's top wrestlers. We also want to recognize Coach Sumner Bradshaw for his leadership and dedication in preparing these student athletes for success. Please join me in congratulating these outstanding students and their coach on a great season. Congratulations. Yay. All right. So we're going to have you guys go over to the backdrop. Maybe someone else. Okay, good. All right, very good. Congratulations once again, Windsor High wrestlers. Yeah. All right, and now we want to recognize some of our DECA students from both Windsor High and Smithfield High. We are excited to share highlights from the recent Virginia DECA State Leadership Conference held at the Virginia Beach Convention Center. This year's event brought together more than 6,000 students from across the Commonwealth, creating a highly competitive and inspiring environment that rivaled the scale of a major university campus. Smithfield High School and Windsor High students represented Isle of Wight County schools with excellence, competing against some of the largest and most established programs in Virginia. Their performance demonstrated not only their preparation and skill, but also that IWCS students can compete and succeed at the highest level. We are proud to recognize the following students for earning top 10 placements in their respective categories. Diana Liang from Smithfield High School in Principles of Business Management and Administration. Aiden Powers from Windsor High School in Personal Financial Literacy. And Stephanie Jacome from Windsor High School in Restaurant Management Services. We also extend our appreciation to the dedicated DECA advisors at both schools, Carissa White at Windsor High and Madeline Carter at Smithfield High. And did Stephanie come in? And Stephanie just got a pin for Beta, but you're welcome to get a second one. Come on, ladies. So, once again, we congratulate these DECA students and their sponsors for such an outstanding accomplishment at the state level. Nicely done. And please move on over to the backdrop and we'll get a photo, okay? We good. Congratulations once again. And now we're moving on to our Seniors of the Month. First from Windsor High School, the Senior of the Month for April is Haley Pierce. So Haley, come on, no, she's here. Haley, come on down. And just, we have her just stand there in front. Haley stands out as a student leader whose dedication, service, and school pride make a lasting impact on her school community. As president of the National Beta Club and a former secretary, she demonstrates strong leadership and communication skills while actively contributing to school initiatives. She successfully balances a demanding schedule that includes varsity athletics, academics, and service, serving as varsity volleyball captain while also competing in soccer and wrestling. Her commitment to helping others is evident through her extensive community service, including volunteering regularly at the local library and assisting with the school's annual blood drive. Haley's leadership and achievements extend beyond the school through her active participation in national Beta events. She has qualified for both the Beta Leadership Summit and the National Beta Convention and earned state-level recognition with a third-place finish in both Beta Robotics and Beta Living Literature. Recently recognized as the school's Student Spotlight for February 2026, Haley continues to demonstrate excellence in all she pursues. Her ability to lead, compete, and represent her school with integrity and enthusiasm makes her highly deserving of this recognition. Quote, "This student has demonstrated exceptional leadership, having served in leadership roles within Beta for 2 years. She is a dedicated athlete who consistently displays determination and promotes team cohesion. Observing her growth and increased leadership responsibilities has been inspiring, as she has developed skills that will benefit her throughout her life. She regularly contributes new ideas and innovative strategies to motivate her classmates to excel." And that's from Mrs. Davis, her Beta sponsor. After graduation, Haley plans to attend Old Dominion University to pursue a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Congratulations, Haley. We're going to have you go over here for a photo. Well, good. Congratulations once again. And our Smithfield High School Senior of the Month for April is Noah Zola. Did I say it right? Zola. Noah consistently demonstrates a strong work ethic and genuine commitment to excellence in all that he does. He approaches each task with energy, curiosity, and a desire to learn while maintaining high standards across his academic responsibilities. His ability to stay organized, manage his time effectively, and follow through with purpose reflects a level of maturity well beyond his years. Noah's dedication and consistent performance make him a standout student and a deserving Senior of the Month. Beyond the classroom, Noah is known for his character, leadership, and willingness to support others. He regularly volunteers his time to assist fellow students, offering guidance and encouragement whenever needed. His positive attitude and thoughtful approach to helping others have made him a role model among his peers and a valued member of the school community. Noah leads not for recognition, but through quiet consistency and genuine care for those around him. Quote, Noah is so kind and always cordial to staff and fellow students. He is a true gentleman, from Miss Simon, science teacher. Noah plans to pursue a career in psychology and has received college offers from Old Dominion, Virginia Commonwealth, and Randolph-Macon College. So he's got a few decisions there. Congratulations. We'll have you go over here for a photo. We all good? Congratulations. And that's going to conclude Achievers, and I just want to extend an extra thank you to families that came out tonight, because technically the students are now on spring break. So if you came here as your first night of spring break, we greatly appreciate it. So have a wonderful spring break, be safe, relax, rewind, and we'll see you back in a week. Thank you.
Next, we have I on Instruction, Windsor Elementary School.
Good evening. We're excited to tell you about our school's very first Science Day. On February 26th, the whole school had an hour for students to engage in fun, hands-on science activities. Investing in hands-on science activities is fun and impactful.
Grade level teachers collaborated with Miss Wight to gather ideas and materials needed for Science Day.
These activities support our learning standards. We made learning connections in a fun and meaningful way.
In kindergarten, we tested if candy hearts would sink and flow in different liquids.
We made predictions, watched carefully, and talked about our findings.
In first grade, we tested what melts ice the fastest. We use sugar, salt, and vinegar.
In second grade, we learned about the life cycle of a plant. We also planted our own sunflower seeds, and we get to watch them grow.
In third grade, we put different things in water and found out that some of them dissolved and some did not. We had so much fun during this investigation because we got to collaborate with students from another classroom.
In fourth grade, we tested which paper towel brand was the most absorbent by measuring what each one could hold.
In fifth grade, we made models of plate boundaries with cake, icing, and graham crackers. It was fun to make and delicious to eat.
Science Day gave us the chance to explore, experiment, and think like scientists.
We look forward to having more Science Days, and we encourage you all to join us next time. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for us?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Please.
Killian, I got a question for you, young man. Are you nervous? No. I know you better than that. So tell me one thing that surprised you about, what is one thing that dissolved that you didn't think was going to dissolve? Put you on the spot, buddy.
I don't remember.
Can you tell me one thing that you made dissolve?
What?
What was one thing that you guys dissolved in water?
Sugar.
Sugar. That's right. That's my favorite, right? That's the best part of Kool-Aid is sugar. All y'all did a great job. Appreciate y'all coming up here.
Thank you. Next, we have the public comment period. And Madam Clerk, do we have anybody registered to speak?
Yes, sir. In accordance to policy BDDH-E, presentation of information on any subject will be concluded at the discretion of the board. No person will be recognized to speak more than once. Citizens scheduled on the agenda to speak will be permitted 4 minutes maximum time for their presentation. Delegations will be requested to limit their speakers to 2. Persons speaking are asked to be specific, state the issues for the board's consideration, and attach a copy of your prepared remarks. If you have prepared remarks, they should be given to the board clerk. Please do not approach the board members. Any matter relating to specific students will be heard by the school board only in a closed meeting. And first, we have Janine Scherer.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I stand before you not only as a parent, but as an advocate for my child and for many other children in this district who do not yet have a voice strong enough to be heard on their own. Over the course of this school year, I've experienced and witnessed a series of deeply concerning issues regarding student transportation. These are not isolated incidents. They are patterns that point to something much larger. A lack of oversight, a lack of accountability, and most concerning of all, a lack of urgency in addressing the safety and well-being of our children. Transportation is not just a service, it is an extension of the school environment. The moment a child steps onto the bus, they are still under your care. They are still entitled to safety, dignity, and protection. And yet what I and others have encountered tells a different story. There have been several incidences where proper procedures were not followed, such as having a special needs nonverbal student left at the stop without adult supervision. Situations where behavior that should have been addressed immediately were either overlooked or minimized. Bus driver not waiting for the student even though they saw us coming out. barely giving a student with autism and Down syndrome time to clear the safety zone before driving away, excessive yelling at special needs students, and most recently putting their hands on a student's backside. Concerns that were brought forward by parents were not met with reassurance or action, but instead with silence and delays or incomplete responses. As a parent, this is unacceptable. As an advocate for children with disabilities, many of whom are nonverbal and rely entirely on the adults around them for safety, it is deeply alarming. These children cannot always tell us what happened on the bus. They cannot always explain when something feels wrong, unsafe, or confusing. That means we as adults must hold an even higher standard of care. We must ensure that every driver, every aide, every individual involved in transportation is not only qualified, but properly trained, supported, and held accountable. And right now I am asking, where is that accountability? When I requested video footage of incident involving my child, I did not receive the whole video. I received a portion. That raises concerns, not only for transparency, but what about what might be missing, as well as other videos I've asked for. When I began researching qualifications and background standards, I found information that raised even more concerns and questions about hiring practices and venting procedures. When I brought these forward, I did not feel heard. I did not feel assured. I did not feel the urgency that matched the gravity of the situation. This is where the division's response becomes just as concerning as the incidents themselves. But when concerns are minimized, when communication is incomplete, and when accountability is unclear, trust is broken. And once trust is broken between families in the school district, it takes more than words to repair it. What I expect and what every parent in this district deserves is simple. I expect transparency. I expect full and honest communication. I expect that all individuals responsible for transporting our children are properly trained, thoroughly vetted, and held to the highest standards. Unfortunately, with my ongoing research, I have identified several vehicle citations and other things involved. This boggles me how you felt it was okay to hire a person who drives a bus weighing anywhere between 10,000 to 35,000 pounds with students, let alone special needs. I expect that when a concern is raised, it is taken seriously, investigated fully, and addressed properly. After talking with IWS Social Services, I understand that a report, possible verbal and physical abuse, was not fully filed. And I know that you all are mandated by the state. And most importantly, I expect that no child, especially those who cannot advocate for themselves, will suffer due to negligence, oversight, or lack of action. Because these children have already been impacted, and many of them, healing is not immediate. It takes time, it takes care, and it takes rebuilding a sense of safety that should never have been compromised in the first place. This is not about blame, this is about responsibility. This is about ensuring that moving forward, no family has to question whether their child is safe on a school bus. After going public with my concerns, other families have come forward with issues on the same bus driver and aide. I'm here today because I believe we can do better, and I am asking clearly and firmly that we do. Thank you.
Susan Wabel.
Hello, my name is Susan Wabel, and I'm the computer science teacher at Carrollton Elementary. I would like to start by thanking you, the school board, for approving the budget and helping to get teachers and other staff members the raises they deserve. I am here today to publicly thank Dr. Kramer for his service to Isle of Wight County Schools. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to come last month, and he's not here this month, but I'm going to speak anyhow. After graduating college in 1996, I moved around a lot trying to find a place to call home and settle down. During that time, I taught in 3 different states, 7 different counties, and 8 different schools. In all that time, I don't know that I ever knew a superintendent's name, let alone seen one in a school. Dr. Thornton was the first superintendent I saw visit a school, but that was only ever as a walkthrough for special occasions. In October 2022, Dr. Kramer said he wanted to meet with the staff of every school, and he did. He wanted to hear our concerns, and he really listened. When our list at Carrollton Elementary, when our list of maintenance concerns got too long, he scheduled a walkthrough with members of our staff, Dr. Coleman, Mr. Christensen, and ABM. We walked every hallway, went into every classroom and bathroom. You remember. He was hands-on and involved. He didn't just sit behind a desk and send emails. His Employee Advisory Council is another example of his hands-on involvement. He's an open book and explains to all of us what is happening at central office and how it will affect the schools, how money is being spent, and changes we can expect to see in the future. At the end of last year, he has listed the challenges that teachers across the district are facing. This year, we've worked on ways to prioritize and conquer these challenges. His past experience in other districts and how they are run and financed has helped to educate us on our value and the changes we need to make. He lit a spark in the advisory council that we carried back to our schools. He's worked to improve not only our schools, but the lives of staff and students here in Isle of Wight County. He has done it quietly, respectfully, and with great dignity. I can only hope that others can follow his lead. And then I was going to say that I'd like to thank you, Dr. Kramer, for being a great superintendent and role model. Thank you for your service, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Renee Dial.
Good evening, members of the board, and I'm glad to come behind you because I was one of the board members that actually hired Dr. Kramer. So that's a good thing. I'm a parent, a former board member, and a concerned member of this community. I want to start by grounding us in something simple because it seems to be getting lost. The role of a school board is very clear. You are here to set policy, oversee the budget, approve the calendar, hire the superintendent and evaluate him, and ensure the system operates in the best interest of all the students. Not to operate behind the scenes, not to align outcomes privately, and not to present decisions that appear to be already made. Let's talk about the recent student protest. Whether you agree with it or not, those students using their voices, and the school did what it was supposed to do. They protected students' rights to peacefully assemble while maintaining safety and order. Staff acted as neutral observers, and according to your own report, the majority of students acted appropriately and returned to class. So let's be clear, this was not about disruption. This was a leadership response problem. Because before this protest even took place, there was a clear effort to shut it down, to prevent it, to discipline students, not based on behavior, but based on disagreement with what they were protesting, according to the emails that were released. And that is not your role, Mr. Collick, Ms. Perkins, and Mr. Wooster. This was not neutrality, this was bias, and it very much showed. Mr. Collick, showing up to a school during a protest wearing an ICE-affiliated shirt is not neutral. It is intimidating. Whether intentional or not, that sends a message to the students, and it was inappropriate for someone in your position. Ms. Perkins, turning your back and refusing to shake Mr. Williams' hand because you disagreed with him, that was disrespectful and very unprofessional, and I also saw the video. That was an emotional overriding your responsibility. Mr. Wooster, your explicit bias and requests in this situation were not aligned with your role. Your job is governance, not inserting your personal opinion into operations. And when board members step outside their role, it creates confusion, pressure, and a breakdown in leadership. Now let's talk about transparency a little bit. In an email exchange between Collick and Marsh, I quote, "At the end of the day, Brandy, you and Mark are getting what you wanted, and you've wanted it for a while. This is opportunistic. When people put two and two together, and they will, cutting Theo loose will be a bad look for you and the board as a collective. Had the kids followed their directions, it would have been mute. Those kids' actions were no one's fault but their own. I wanted to get that off my chest," end quote. I appreciate you, Marsh, for actually calling it what it was. So Brandy, Wooster, and Collick, you all have been trying to get rid of Dr. Kramer. Why? This is a calculated shared goal among multiple members of the board. This wasn't a one-time mention or reaction. In fact, it appears as though you use this protest as potential justification for a broader objective, which was what? I'm wondering what that is. This is not just concerning, it is a red flag, because when three members are aligned on an outcome outside of a public meeting, that does not just look inappropriate, it begins to look like a quorum. And a quorum outside of a public view is exactly what transparency laws are designed to prevent. So let's not minimize this. Either that statement reflects a serious misunderstanding of your responsibilities or reflects conversations that the public was not included in. And both are a problem. So I am clearly asking for a record where 3 or more members involved in discussions directly or indirectly
1 minute.
outside of a
Time.
properly noticed public meeting regarding this matter. And this concern does not stop there, because now we're seeing a pattern. There's a video of multiple board members together at Smithfield, along with central staff, engaging in discussions around school matters. So this question is no longer if conversations are happening, it is why they are happening outside of public view, because when discussions, alignment happen before a public meeting, then the meeting itself becomes performative, and that undermines public trust. I do want to acknowledge again Jason, but let me be clear that the bigger issue was not about disruption. This was about control. Control over student voices, control over a message you did not agree with, and control over how the situation was handled from the beginning. And that is not the role of a board, so please go back and look at what your role as a board member is. Every board member may be sitting as a district, but once elected, you represent all students.
Time.
And right now, the community who not, I'll finish later. Thank you.
Next, we'll have the reports from the student liaisons.
Good afternoon, school board. This is our last meeting before we release for spring break, which begins tomorrow, April 3rd, and we won't be back until the Monday after next. Once again, thank you to the school board and to Dr. Kramer for making that break happen. In addition to today being the day before spring break, it's also the last day of the third quarter, and outside of that, I really don't have much to say. All has been running smoothly at Smithfield, and it's been a good month for us, so I'll turn it over to Cole Mumford.
Run a little short, okay. Good evening, Mr. Chair, school board members, and members of the community. Tonight is Isle of Wight's spring break eve, and we are halfway through the second semester. First, I would like to say congratulations to all of our Isle of Wight achievers. I deeply miss Dr. Kramer right now. I wish he was here with us. The Windsor Dukes boys soccer team is undefeated as of tonight with a 4-0 record start. The girls are 2-2-2. The baseball team is at a strong 6-2 record, and the softball team is also at a strong record of 6-1. It's a great job, Dukes. Keep up the great work for the spring sports. Additionally, I want to deeply thank the board for submitting the proposed budget to get this to the Board of Supervisors that included the increase of teacher pay. This county deeply appreciates the representation from this board. The next hill to climb is now the Board of Supervisors, and it will be a tough battle trying to get our teachers what they deserve. I urge all teachers and citizens of Isle of Wight County who feel moved by this effort to be at the Board of Supervisors meeting April 16th. The more we have in attendance, the stronger, more supportive of a message we can present the supervisors with. This board has done all it can do for this effort, and for that, Windsor High School is deeply appreciative. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I got a comment for our liaisons, if you don't mind. Cameron Cole, sitting up here as a board member and a parent, has some perks, but it also presents a few challenges. And since you two are both highly motivated young adults, I have an ask. In the coming weeks, maybe perhaps before the next board meeting, could you guys go out and ask some questions to some of your peers and get a feel for what you think the counseling is like for preparing students for high school and following high school? And I ask that because I've got a 7th grader who's getting ready to roll into the 8th grade. And all this is new to me, right? So I didn't go to a traditional college. I jumped into the military. So all this is new to me. So what I'm trying to figure out is I don't want to ask the question. I want the perspective of the students. Do you folks feel like you're getting what you need to help point you in the right direction and navigate through high school, course collections, grant opportunities, career options, whether that be walking out of high school into a job or walking into some sort of secondary education? just kind of get a feel. I'd appreciate your own feedback, and then if you could get some feedback from your peers. Is that something you could do for me?
I can absolutely work to speak to students at Smithfield and bring that to you next month. So.
Absolutely, Mr. Marsh, thank you for that. I think our school does a great job presenting our students with the greatest possible future after high school. Canvas pages for the senior class includes scholarship opportunities in the Canvas pages for the senior class. And I'm not a senior yet, so I don't know the full endeavors of the Canvas page for seniors, but I do know that this Canvas page for seniors does include all scholarship opportunities that the counselors have been given. So I think that alone is a great representation of how we are given a great outlook for our future just in high school. But yes, sir, I'll definitely get a impact for you. Don't worry about
Thanks.
that.
And to be clear, I'm not trying to put anybody on report. I'm just trying to get an honest assessment. So let's face it, right? So if me or anybody sitting up here calls Dr. Coleman or Mrs. Getz and says, hey, how are we doing with counseling students? Well, we may not get the same, we may or may not. Listen, they're pretty straightforward, but you guys are going to get an unfiltered, unpolished response. And that's what I'm after. And if I'm not asking, you don't have to do it up here. I'd welcome it if you can, but however it's appropriate.
Can I add to that? Could you also ask your peers, what would you like to see, right? What are some things that you think would be advantageous? As you know, we understand counseling to be something from our perspective, right? But now that times have changed, there may be some new perspectives from your lens that might add to what we can offer you. So.
Thank you both, and thanks, Mr. Chair. And to be completely forthright, I did speak with Mrs. Getz, and she is going to work on a brief for a future date to educate the board on that process. As a parent that's never had a kid go through this, I really don't know what to ask. I don't know how it comes to fruition. So to educate me, you folks, if you need, and anyone else who might have similar questions. So
Sounds good.
thank you.
Thank you both, and you can stay, you can go at your leisure. Thank you. Next, we'll have the presentations from the superintendent's staff. We will start with the special education annual plan draft.
Good evening. Tonight we have the 26-27 annual plan for approval. No changes have been made to the draft since we brought it to your attention last month as information, but tonight it is for approval. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I know that you put this out for public consumption too.
Yes.
Did you have anybody from the public reach out and provide any feedback?
We did. We had a handful of responses. We actually sent this to the staff and to the parents digitally this year because of the quick turnaround between meetings. But we did actually get more responses that way than we have in the past when it was left at school locations and binders. So we did have a handful, mostly staff actually, with one parent response.
That's all I got, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the special education plan for 2026-2027 school year as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Colick?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, we will have the 26-27 Perkins Grant.
Grant application, my apologies, for your review. I believe you all should have a draft copy of that application in your packet. Of course, Ms. Street and I are both here to answer any questions that you may have regarding the grant application.
Are you guys able to hear them? I know Mr. Ford said he was having some difficulty.
The audio in here is atrocious. I don't know if it's the same out there as it is up here. Probably worse up here because we're in.
I think we can hear you a lot clearer now.
I can certainly repeat. Again, Ms. Street and I are here this evening to present to you all the 2026-2027 Perkins Grant application. You all should have the documentation in front of you. Are here to answer any questions and ask the board's approval to please move forward with submission to the Virginia Department of Education.
Any comments?
If you could, ladies, just for the listening audience, give us a quick overview of the Perkins Grant. What is it? And then there was one paragraph that specifically caught my attention. And it talks about plans to implement a health sciences plan of study through sequencing pathway, including introduction to health and medical sciences, medical text, library text. If you could talk a little bit to that too, because that caught my attention.
Yes, so just for the listening audience, the Perkins Grant is funding that is provided from the state. So that is allocation based on multiple of things, but including enrollment, the size of our county, intake, all of that. So we are provided funding from the state. We have to use our local funds first before we tap into Perkins. There was a slight increase from last year to this year, about $1,500 with Perkins. There are stipulations on ways that we can use Perkins. We just can't use it for anything. We have to document everything that we use for Perkins so that then we can reclassify that for reimbursement.
And I believe you mentioned the paragraph regarding expanding some of the health science courses.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So that is something that we are looking to do going into next school year. A lot of the CTE courses have evolved over the years, so we are looking to add an introduction to health course as well as medical terminology and medical lab technician with our CNA and PCT program. So 3 additional courses we are looking to add.
It's exciting.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Sir.
I move to approve the 2026-2027 Perkins Grant application as presented.
Second.
The motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Colick?
Yes. Thank you, ladies. Next, we have the contract for architectural services for the new West Side Elementary School. Dr. Coleman and Mr. Berry.
Good evening. An RFP was issued November 10th for architectural and engineering services for the design of a new elementary school. After the closing date of December 10th, we received 6 proposals, and they were one was from Crabtree, Rohrbar and Associates, one from Mosley, one from PBK Architects, one from RRMM Architects, one from Stantec Architecture, and Woolpert. So based on the evaluation factors that were put into the bid, we had a subcommittee consisting of myself, Dr. Coleman, Mrs. Getz, Mr. Cooprider, and Mr. Christensen. And we reviewed all of the proposals and discussed them, and we narrowed it down to a short list. And then we interviewed. We had each of these 3 firms come in and make a presentation. We asked questions. The short list was Crabtree, Rohrbar and Associates, Mosley, RRMM Architects. So after that was done, we evaluate based on the factors that were put into the RFP, and for a request for proposal for this type for architecture under the Virginia Public Procurement Act, it is not based solely on price. You first identify of those 3 of the short list who is ranked number 1. You bring them in, you negotiate a contract, and if you can reach an mutually agreeable contract, then that is who you choose to award. So we did that. We chose RRMM. They submitted one proposal, we went back and negotiated it, and they reduced their price. And so we are here to recommend the award of this contract to RRMM. And the total proposed fee is $3,810,445. Questions?
Very good.
I just have one question. What were the major differences between the top three candidates for this proposal?
Comparing them to all six? Primarily their experience in Virginia and how close they are here to this region instead of being, further away. But I think all of them, certainly of all the three that we made to the short list, each one of them could certainly have provided this service. That it was a difficult decision to make.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Is there any action that we take on this?
Yeah, it's an action.
He's one.
Yes, it is.
It's just, I didn't put a motion because I didn't.
Yeah, so what they're gonna have to do is, just move to approve that.
Yeah, I don't see it.
No.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move to approve the contract for architectural services for the new West Side Elementary School as presented.
Second.
We have motion and a second, and is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Colick?
Yes. And next,
Next item, as you can see,
Might-
I've been busy with RFPs this year.
okay, and this is the contract for health services now.
Mr. Chair, ladies, listen, I'm deaf in one ear. I can't hear out the other. If you could please speak up a little closer. I'm having a tough time.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that good? Okay. So at your request, we issued a RFP for health insurance, and it was issued January 15th, and we received the bids back, I think it was February 13th, but we still were waiting on one response. So we actually received two bona fide offers. One is from our current health insurance carrier with Anthem under a fully self-insured plan. As you know, where we pay all of the medical claims as they come through. So it's fully self-insured. And I'll let you know that based on just that information, if you were to renew under that plan, we would need an additional $1 million added to the what you already approved for the budget. So if you will recall, I added in $1 million extra for the budget, but based on the renewal and the increase in claims, we would need an additional $1 million to continue with that plan. The other proposal we received was from the Local Choice, and the Local Choice is a pooled insurance program, so it's similar to like Baycor, where we have all of our other general insurance, workers' comp, property liability. And it was created by the General Assembly in 1989 and has been providing health insurance to local jurisdictions since 1990. There are approximately 360 local groups encompassing over 430 political subdivisions in the state of Virginia that belong to this or participate, and it has over 70,000 members, retirees, and their dependents in this program. The Virginia Department of Human Resource Management, DHRM, is the one that administers the program. The Local Choice, one of the, I see certainly as a very big advantage, is that it bundles health insurance, dental insurance, and vision insurance. Under the current plan, we do offer all three insurances, but they are three different plans and there are three different premiums. You don't have to participate in all three. However, the majority of our employees that do participate in health insurance also participate in the other two. So just from the mere fact that they will not have to pay a separate premium for dental and vision, the costs are going down for them and also for us. And now Mrs. Sullivan was going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages.
So if we were to move to the TLC, the local choice, the insurer carrier would remain unchanged. We would stay with Anthem. So the carrier would be Anthem, which is the same company that we have our current insurance through. It does, like Ms. DeBerry said, bundles the health, dental, and vision. The pooled model allows for more predictability and stable annual cost as compared to the standalone self-insured plan. So instead of being concerned about where our claims come in from month to month, we will know at the beginning of the year how much we're going to have to pay in the end, which again also allows us as a school division to not have to maintain the large amount of reserves that we have to in our health insurance fund. We have to always balance a good or a bad year with health of our employees, knowing that we have enough money to offset the cost if we were to have a particularly unhealthy year. And the financial risk obviously is shared across the pool of candidates and reduces exposure to those really large claims. It also means when we go out for renewal, because we will have to renew every year, that we are going out with the bargaining power of that 70,000 employees versus our 850 employees. So when you have that business that you're presenting to an insurance carrier, they're more likely to negotiate with you in a lower renewal cost. And so those are the key advantages that we see at this time. There are some disadvantages. Oh yes, and so it's also the plan that the county currently has. If you want to share a little bit about anything else you want to share about that?
No, just that the local choice is the same insurance plan that the county offers its employees.
Some of the key disadvantages, obviously, when you experience change within an organization, we've been with Anthem in the very similar plan for the last 4 years. And so with the change, the plans are not directly comparable. So employees initially may experience some barriers with decision making when they're selecting the best plan for their coverage needs as compared to what they have been able to renew on an annual basis for the last 4 years. And we do have a tight turnaround time with our open enrollment. So our open enrollment will happen in the middle of May if we make this change. And so employees will have to very quickly be educated on what we are able to offer and then make those decisions for at least this next year of what they're committing to for their coverage. Additionally, the high deductible plan, the IRS sets what high deductibles have to be. Because we were a self-insured plan, we were able to set a lower high deductible than what the IRS requires because we were able to move those numbers on our fully self-insured plan. Because this would be a pooled plan, we no longer can do that. So the deductibles will increase for our high deductible plan to match what the IRS requires. However, based on the proposed rates, we also are proposing an increase to the HSA contribution from the county to help offset what that high deductible will be for the employees who select that particular plan. Under the high deductible plan, the amount of pay after the plan deductible is a 20% co-insurance as compared to right now there's a 0% co-insurance. So right now, after you meet your deductible, there's nothing more you have to pay. With a new high deductible, they will have to pay 20% of that cost. But again, that's also due to the offset of, hopefully with the offset of the HSA contribution will help with that. The out-of-pocket max for individuals under the high deductible plan is $5,000 versus the current $4,000. And then for family coverage, it's $10,000 versus the current $8,000 out of pocket that they would have to pay after their deductible is met. And then for us as a division, there is the possibility of an adverse experience adjustment, which is like a withdrawal fee. So if we join with the TLC and want to come out, we don't have to pay run-out cost and that reserve, but you do have to pay a fee because they're going to still pay our run-out costs. So we do have to pay a fee for them, and they let us know what that is if we want to withdraw. If you do withdraw, you can't join back with the TLC for another 3 years. So that is something to consider. And they do that to control their cost without having people coming in and out. We're happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
If I can just add one more thing. So I know for a fact that this is going to reduce the employer portion, reduce our budget. I think it's premature for us to determine whether or not that additional $1 million that was put in the budget, if that's going to be needed. I don't think all of it will be, but because this is a new plan, I think it's best if we wait till open enrollment, which will be from May 1st to May 15th, to see exactly who signs up, and then we can more definitively tell you. But I know it's not going to impact it negatively.
Thank you.
So are you asking to postpone the vote on?
No.
Okay.
No, we're under a very tight timeline. For being new to the local choice, DHRM requires us to send an application and these other agreements that you have before you tonight. We need to get it to them by April 17th.
How long would this agreement be with the TLC?
I'm sorry?
How long would the agreement with the TLC
1 year.
last? Per year? So
It's 1 year, and it's on the same renewal that we have now. It goes from July 1st to June 30th.
So does that mean we would have to put the RFP out every year?
No.
No, okay.
No, the local choice, with it being a pooled insurance plan, it's actually exempt from the Virginia Public Procurement Act of having to bid it out.
Okay. And have you guys set aside a time to educate the staff on these benefits?
Our consultant is Pierce Group, and every year, they come on site to help people. Do you want to speak?
Sure, I can, yeah. So they come on site to do the open enrollment process. So they have trained benefits counselors that can talk about the specificity of your specific health needs and also your dependents, and talk through the type of coverage and how that'll play out with your needs. Previously, in years past, when we aren't making changes, we allow employees to self-enroll. Like if you want to keep the same plan and just roll with it, you log in, you self-select. And if you want to make changes, you can choose to meet with a benefits counselor. With a change like this, we would require one-on-one meetings with every employee and with a benefits counselor to make sure that they're well educated on the changes that are coming and that they make the best selection for themselves. And they would either have to choose to waive or to select a plan after meeting with that counselor. So they would have that one-on-one time, along with mandatory group briefings that we would do at each location to get an overview first, and then a smaller one-on-one counseling session. And that would happen between May 1st and May 15th.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yes, sir. You know, I like to talk. This is huge. This really is. So you ladies have been working on this for months, right? Months. And I think this came up, last budget cycle was the first time it came up. Supervisor Roundtree was a huge proponent of it, and she's been behind the scenes kind of egging this along. I think, as I understand it, and most of this healthcare stuff makes my head ache, but it looks like the predictability and the ability to budget for this is a huge advantage from the perspective of the schools and the county as a whole. The fact that if we adopt this tonight, it puts the school employees on the same plan as the county employees. I think a strong argument is to be made that if you work for the school division and you work for the county, you're all county employees, so why should one have better treatment than the other? Duly noted that it's a bit premature, but it's also worth saying that the potential exists to save approximately $1 million, and we discussed that last week or week before in a joint session. That's all cool, fine and dandy from the perspective of the board, but for the people listening, the teachers, the employees, what's the major takeaway for them? Is this an advantage to them or not?
So, and that is kind of been, Liesl and I have worked together very closely on this, and we obviously have the perspective of trying to support the needs of the division, and then, I am advocating, or we are advocating for the employees in that, and so every decision that we've made, we've looked at it from the perspective of, well, yes, this is going to help the division. How is it going to help the employee? How are we going to maintain the same level of coverage at the same cost or make it better? And so I think it's important to note that if we stay with our current renewal, the extra $2 million that we would need, we do not have that in our budget. And that's an additional cost that we would have to consider then splitting between the premiums that the employee pays versus the portion that the employer pays. And so I really want to make it clear that what we currently have is no longer an option because the insurance costs are going to go up. And so the same coverage for the same cost is not an option. And so in looking at the comparison of what the TLC has to offer for the cost of it, initially, right now, it looks very comparable with the changes that we've suggested. So for example, like I pointed out, the fact that the deductible is going to be higher, which means if you get the high deductible plan, you're going to pay more when you go to that doctor's office over time, if you're not well and you have to go to the doctor's office, not at each individual visit, of course, but over a period of time, you may have to pay more, which is why we're going to increase the HSA to help offset that for you. And so they are not directly aligned. When someone first hears the deductible, it might feel like, oh gosh, this is worse than we've ever had before. But then when you look at the offset of the HSA, it then assists with that. It's also the reason why we feel very strongly that we not increase the premiums. And in fact, they have decreased. If you get all three, your overall premiums have decreased going into next year because we want to give employees the opportunity to pick a plan, experience the plan with their health needs, and see how it plays out financially for them, so that before we have to consider renewals and any potential cost increase in the future, employees know the insurance that they're getting and how it supports their health needs.
It seems fair and reasonable to say that, assuming we adopt this tonight, it's of the utmost importance that the Pierce Group works hard to educate all the employees. And I think it's also fair to expect some, a learning curve for not just the employees, but perhaps the school division as a whole. And maybe we'll just have to make some adjustments next year. But it sounds like, all in all, it's a net positive.
And I also like to mention that there are 3 different plans that we'll be offering. It's not just the high deductible. There is also a plan where you have a $500 deductible. There's another plan that you have a $1,000 deductible. So each individual is going to have to look at it and see where their out-of-pocket costs, where it makes the most sense for them. I can tell you personally, I'm on the high deductible, but I am likely going to transfer to the 1,000. But there are also a lot of people out there that are really in favor of having the health savings account, HSA, and you can't have that on the other 2 plans. The other thing that we did is, I believe we priced this, or the way we're sharing the cost between the employee and the employer, we were strategic. Don't really know why it was done this way in the past, but it was more beneficial for if an employee and their spouse both worked here, it was more beneficial for them to each take an employee-only plan, because going employee plus spouse was way much more, just even from the employee standpoint. Don't know why. So now, since we are not paying based on claims, we are paying based on monthly premiums, we have priced that so to encourage a husband and wife that work here to do the employee plus 1 plan. So their amounts they pay out of pocket is lower, and what we pay in premiums, we will only be paying 1 versus 2. So we're taking all of those things into account. And for what it's worth, I've worked with the local choice plan for probably about 8 years prior to, in one of my previous lives.
That's all I got, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
All right, I move to award the request for a proposal for group health, dental, and vision insurance to the local choice, adopt the local choice health benefits program agreement as presented, and approve the resolution concerning participation of pre-65 retirees in the TLC bundled health, dental, vision insurance plan.
Second.
We have motion and second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Colick?
Yes. Thank you, ladies.
The next item for your consideration is with regard to the fiscal year 26 bonus, as we have spoken about previously. Originally, when the governor introduced his budget, he had recommended a 2% bonus to be paid in fiscal year 26. Both the House and the Senate came back and they recommended doing a $1,500 bonus. And we have the ability to use it, as like we did last year, for retention purposes. So it's only those employees that are returning for next school year that will be eligible to receive this. The urgency of this is that we have to certify to the state by May 1st if we are going to move forward with this bonus. So that's why we had to get it to you tonight. So taking the total cost of that and then subtracting out the portion that we get from the state, the net cost is about $748,000. And fortunately, we do have the savings in the current year's budget to be able to absorb that. We would plan on issuing this between June 15th and June 30th, just like we did this past year.
Are there any questions?
I move to provide a one-time retention bonus to employees returning for the 2026-2027 school year in the amount of $1,500 gross for full-time employment and $750 gross for part-time employees. Can I have a motion? Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Happy spring break when the teachers come back, I guess.
Okay, hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Colick?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Berry. We're going to take a 5-minute recess. It's on. Next, we'll have the reports from the superintendent's staff. We'll start off with the 2026-27 Extended School Year Services Proposal.
Hi, good evening again. Tonight, the Extended School Year Services Proposal is for information only. We did slightly change our calendar. We've extended the length of the school day and the number of days to better align with summer school. But other than that, there are no other changes from last year. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions? No? Thank you, Ms. Magner.
All right, thank you.
Now we'll go to survey results for policy JFBB.
Here we go. All right, you're going to get us going. Good evening. So tonight, Ms. Briggs and I would like to share the survey results with you that we put out a couple weeks ago. So to kind of kick us off, to state our purpose of why we did this survey is we wanted to gauge community sentiment regarding student expression, safety, and the preservation of instructional time during organized student protests. We had 1,287 responses.
Yes, and just to break down, we had 867 that indicated they were parents, 355 employees, 154 residents, 37 students, 66 that checked community members, business owners. This will add up to more than that number because we asked them to check all the categories they identified with. So if you go back and check my math, please don't question. It's they were able to check more than one box. And you can see if they were associated with schools, they indicated what schools school levels were represented by their families.
Okay, let's dive in a little deeper. 76.1% of respondents agreed or strongly agreed that students should have opportunities to express their views. 78.6% agreed or strongly agreed that schools must ensure expression does not disrupt the learning environment. 77.3% agreed or strongly agreed that it is important to balance student voice with safety and instructional time.
Okay, then we asked a very straightforward question. The options were yes, no, not sure. And you can see we had 46% that said protests should not be allowed during school hours, 42.1% that said yes, they should, and 11.9%, almost 12%, that were not sure.
When asked under what conditions protests should occur, the top responses include must not disrupt instruction, received the most with 716 votes. With prior administrative approval, received 635 votes. In designated areas only, received 618 votes. During designated times, like lunch, received 569 votes. And before or after school only, received 567 votes.
So the top concerns listed there with regards to student protests or demonstrations in decreasing order, student safety, disruption of learning, supervision challenges, and community conflict. And then we had a question about the confidence of the schools to manage such events. We had 35% not confident, 35.8% somewhat confident, and 29.3% that felt very confident with the schools being able to manage events like this.
When asked the question, what should be the school division's top priority when responding to student protests, 55.4% said they weigh all of those equally, and those being student safety, protecting instructional time, maintaining order, protecting student expression. So the most respondents said they weigh those all equally as important.
So then we had an open-ended question, and just to sort of summarize the common themes we were seeing in the responses, there were many participants who highlighted that practicing free speech is a learning opportunity when handled responsibly. There was a desire for staff, including teachers, to remain neutral and not influence student viewpoints. Some residents expressed schools should be strictly for academics, and any activism should occur off campus or after hours. And there were references made to the February 27th walkout as a model for how a neutral staff and clear path or expectations can keep everyone safe and minimize disruption.
Okay, to the statement, students should have opportunities to express their views on issues that matter to them. Parents, 77.2% strongly agreed or agreed. Employees, 85% strongly agreed or agreed. Residents, 53.9% strongly agreed or agreed. Community members, business owners, 57.6% strongly agreed or agreed. And as you can see, we found it interesting that to the statement, students should have opportunities to express their views on issues that matter to them. Parents and employees, the people who are connected to schools, had a much stronger agreement with that statement than did residents and community members.
So we broke out the data again for the following questions. Schools should ensure that student expression does not disrupt the learning environment. And you'll see for parents and employees, there was a 78, 73% agreement respectively for them, with residents and community members or business owners being higher at 88 or 84.8%.
Okay. The statement is, it is important for schools to balance student voice with safety and instructional time. 77.6% of parents agreed strongly agreed. 78.9% of employees agreed or strongly agreed. 71% of residents agreed or strongly agreed, and 71% of business and community community members and business owners agreed.
Okay. So then we looked at the statement, students should be allowed to participate in organized protests during the school day. So here's where it does get a little bit more of a discrepancy. Parents said yes at 43%. They were kind of evenly split, yes and no. Employees leaned a little more towards yes. Residents, much more with no, as well as community members, business owners. 68.2 for residents said no, 60.6 for community members said no.
To the question, how confident are you that schools can safely manage student demonstrations? And I want to draw your attention to the bottom, to the not confident part. Parents, 27.8% said not confident. Employees, 18.3% said not confident. And you're going to see a pretty substantial increase. Residents, 46.8% not confident. Community members and business owners, 47% not confident. Again, we see the contrast between those that are employed or are parents than those who are simply residents and community members.
Yeah. And our last slide just basically states what Ms. Getz was saying. Summary of key differences. Employees are generally the most supportive of student expression at 85% and the most confident in the school's ability to manage demonstrations at 81%. Where conversely, residents without students are the least supportive of school day protests, 68% say no, and the least confident in school management, 47% were not confident. Parents and employees prioritize student safety above all else, while residents without students prioritize protecting instructional time. All groups strongly agree, 70 to 80%, that safety concerns and failure to follow rules are the primary triggers for student discipline in these scenarios. So we thought it was interesting to dig down into some of the groups, pull the groups out, because in some cases there was quite a difference in the responses by group, which is we showed you the kind of overall responses at the beginning, but then broke it out by categories for the last couple of slides just to show you where we saw those differences.
Mr. Chair, if I may, on a personal note, as a student, I feel it is essential that a student has the right, as it does in the Constitution, and the essential respect to voice their opinions in a peaceful, organized, and respectful way. And any opposed to that statement, you don't support your students. I would like the opportunity and the respect from my adults and my peers to be able to voice my opinions and my views of what's going on in the world, because let's be honest, the world has changed drastically in the last, say, 20 years. Everyone knows what's happening. This thing you have in your pocket things 24/7. You know what's going on. You have access to information all around the world. And it is essential for this county to keep up with that drastic change in the world. If this board feels that students shouldn't have the right to express their views at school, then I feel you're not representing the people who put you on the board. And that's a horrible thing to say, but I'm a student. I'm in the classroom every day. I am a student, and I'm speaking on behalf of Windsor High School students. Every student at Windsor High School, I feel, would say they wish to have the right to voice their opinion at school. And I'm shaking at the fact that some people, not just on this board, but in this community and watching this meeting right now, feel the exact opposite and think that we should be suppressed, silenced. That's disgusting. America was built on the foundation of being able to voice your opinion against the government and what's going on above you. And if it's this board's opinion that we shouldn't have that right, then I would like to resign my position as student liaison, because I feel I would not be comfortable sitting on this board. And that's all I have to say.
Cole, I don't think there's anybody on this board that doesn't want students to express themselves. There's a time and place for everything. The Constitution gives us the freedom of speech. It also prohibits unreasonable search and seizure. If you come into a school, we can check your bags. The Constitution also protects the right to bear arms. In school, we do not allow weapons because it's not the right place. So there's a time and place for everything. And from when a bell rings in the morning till a bell rings in the afternoon is instructional time. And I think that probably most of us would agree that if students want to have a protest after school, that's fine. I'm an advocate of giving upperclassmen one day a year to go out and do something civically. If you want to go to a protest, that's fine. If you want to go up to the State House, that's fine. But I don't believe it's proper in school. School is the learning environment, and it's not for protest. Now, if we would allow protests, we're going to have Protest Friday every month because you're going to have one side of one issue. Then the next month it's, hey, the other side wants to protest. It could happen very easily. So my opinion is it's not the time or place within from bell to bell, and that's strictly my opinion. But I believe in student expression, and you have that opportunity in class, I would hope. We always did when I was in school. In civics, in history, in English, we could put our opinions out there. We could discuss them, have good discussions, but we never walked out. We never had protests. That was done away from school. And I'm, for one, believe that's the right way to do it. That's where you should exercise your rights. Your constitutional rights can be abridged in school, just like they will be in your work environment.
May I respond, Mr. Chair?
Please.
I believe the motto of Isle of Wight County is to prepare our students for the work environment and for the future of their lives. And I believe it is this statement of Isle of Wight County to prepare our students for the future of their lives. And I think the First Amendment is a foundational act for the rest of your life that you will have. I think, and I'm just going to conclude my statement here, students should absolutely be able to voice their opinion through organized, staff and admin approved. If we had to come to the school board to ask for approval for a protest, I'd be happy to lead the charge for any stance at all, because it's someone's First Amendment right to do that. I don't think we'd have back and forth protests. I think we are I think we're mature enough in high school to be like, okay, these guys feel this way. That's awesome. I'm very happy that these people are able to exercise their First Amendment rights. I think that, again, I'll say it again, students should absolutely have the right to voice their opinions during school hours. It prepares them for the work environment. It prepares them for the future of their lives. And if this county cannot come to an agreement on that, then I would like to resign my position on the board. And I think that becomes an issue for maybe some people up here. I think this might be a political stunt, but this is seriously how I feel. I would feel unsafe in a school if I cannot voice my opinion. I would feel very unsafe. That's what school is for, just to build your foundation of the life you want to create. And I feel that's your job to ensure that space. And if I'm not asking for your opinion, I'm asking for you to represent the students. We want our voices to be heard, Mr. Collick. We want our voices to be able to be heard at school, and we want to be able to express our voices at school. And I think it's very sad if we're not able to do that.
Is there anybody else?
I'd like to add to that, and thank you very much, Cole, for your insight. And I would agree, right? I think that protests in nature are meant to be disruptive, to bring attention to certain topics, certain concerns by whomever that may be. And yes, during school, while I am a component also of, ensuring that instructional time isn't lost, that we are making the best use of our time at school, I do think that there needs to be room for student expression in that way. And I know that you mentioned the First Amendment and some of the rights that can be addressed differently depending on where you are. I think we need to keep in mind context, because that can kind of be a dangerous, line to walk when we think about, searches and weapons. Those indirectly put other people at danger. So, I think we need to be considerate of those sensitivities around that topic. However, when we think about voice of opinion, when we are thinking about making sure students have that agency to convene during school hours, I don't think we should take that away from them. I think that we as a district need to find a way to mitigate any risk and liability. I think that we need to also come to terms with that if this does happen, and when it does happen, because even if we have a policy, protests can still occur. We need to make sure that if there's any discipline recourse in that way, that we as a school district aren't putting ourselves at liability. We need to make sure that that if we are, again, still want to pass this vote on this policy today, that, not today, but in general, if we were to vote on this policy, we need to make sure that just those bounds are put in place. So if we say, hey, protests can't happen during school hours, they can happen after school, well, what does transportation look like? Does that raise another flag for a liability for us? And I just think that there are a few other factors that we need to, really be sure on before we take any action on this matter. Again, I am a component for preparing our students for the future. And I'm actually proud of students that are bold enough to stand on their values, whether that may require some disciplinary action. I think we should, again, be careful around this topic, because there is a line of liability that, we need to be respectful of.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Okay. Cole, I respect everything that you have said since you first got up here as a student liaison. It says it's on. How about now? Better? Okay. Yeah, I've respected everything you've said since you became a student liaison. I still do. I believe that you're absolutely correct, that your voice does need to be heard. But I think what we're looking at here are two sides of a coin. You have freedom of expression. I support that. I will back you 100%. But that other side of the coin is where it delves into a different category, which becomes disruptive. And then we have to look at the overall learning environment. So you have your voice that you want heard, but we can't let you voice that if it's going to disrupt educational environment in a different area. Does that make sense? So that's pretty much what we're looking at. We're not looking at censoring anybody, or at least I say we. I can't speak for the rest of the board members, so I will just say me. That's what I'm looking at. As far as structuring, you absolutely have a right to freedom of speech. I support it 100%. However, in the school environment, as Mr. Collick alluded to, under Virginia Code, we do have the authority to structure a time frame that it can occur. You know, such, i.e., I'm just throwing examples. If you look at the policy dealing with cell phones, when are you allowed to have it? When can you not have a cell phone? Yeah.
At all during school, I've heard.
From bell to bell?
From bell to bell, yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm going to pose this question to you, Ms. Getz. Is bell to bell defined as instructional time?
It is,
Okay.
with the exception of lunch.
Okay, so bell to bell is instructional time. And if that is the definition there, then we have to apply that equally to various policies. Now, with that being said, there are options to structure it so it can work. I'm working on something myself, which may or may not be, appeasable to you. I don't know. But we're not looking at silencing anyone. We're looking at keeping the educational environment intact, maintaining safety and security, while basically making sure your rights are present. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, Mr. Wooster. I appreciate that. I fully support an effort, and I fully support an effort to creating a process through admin, maybe the board, if you would like to make that decision, on approving protests. And this is a topic that we have to absolutely tread lightly, like Mr. Ford said. But this should be adopted. To have I'll differ away from that because I feel I might go too deep. We have multiple times throughout the day, one including win time. I don't know how many people know what win is, but it's whatever is necessary. So every week I have a list of what is necessary for me and the best for my education. And every day I try to do those during win time. It's 30 minutes between first, second bell and third and fourth bell. As I've heard, I'm not very sure. I didn't look too deep into the ICE protests at Smithfield. I heard that it occurred during Packer Block, which is essentially win, but just transformed a little bit, just the name Packer Block. I think that is an amazing time to structure in any protests that is approved by admin or the board, if you would like to make that happen. But I think win is an amazing time, including your voice in as whatever is necessary is an amazing idea that I think this county should adopt. And thank you, Mr. Wooster, I agree with you. It should be structured, and I feel, I don't know, I was not involved in the ICE protest at Smithfield, but I feel it was structured. I feel that the students did a great job expressing their views. That doesn't mean I would go. That doesn't mean I wouldn't go. That doesn't mean anyone has to go. If we were to structure events like this to be during win time, it's not forcing anyone to go. It's not forcing anyone to look out the window and see, oh God, look at them voicing their opinions and it's not mine. This is not a pointing finger thing. This is okay, thank you for giving me the right to voice my opinion where I'm at 7 hours a day and where I am invested in my life. I'm invested in my education. So I would like to have the right to share my voice when I'm being educated. But like I said, it would be important to have a structure, and I believe Wynn is a great time, or Packer Block is a great time to do that. I think we definitely could limit that to a just high school thing, because I know that Windsor Middle has a Titan block, and I feel that maybe we only limit to Windsor and Smithfield High for the protests. But a structured alley of expressing your First Amendment right is essential. And if we can't do that, then I would, like I said, I would be more than willing to take my name out of student liaison, because I would not want to serve if we couldn't do that. And I feel it would be a slap in the face to the founding fathers. And if you don't think so, then maybe we have different opinions, but I feel it would be an absolute slap in the face to our founding fathers that kids can't voice their opinions. And maybe some people think, well, they're just kids. What does their opinion matter? That is horrible if anyone believes that we're kids and our opinions don't matter. So I hope that is not an idea of anyone on this board or anyone at home watching. But again, I would like a structured way to voice our opinions through admin approval or denial. I would love to include our SGA, Student Government Association, to be involved in that process and to be able to voice the opinions. We're not going to have every protester in the office of the principal when they're approving us, but SGA members being there with one leader of a protest would be amazing. We need to keep up with the world that is drastically changing in front of us. And if we can't do that, like I said, I would be more than happy to take my name out of student liaison. Thank you.
Well, we certainly don't want you to take your name out. And we've got this data now. And I told you what my opinion is. But I have never taken my opinion and said, hey, this is what we're going to ram down people's throats. We're going to take the data, and hopefully we get the board together, and we figure out what this means. What does this community support? And then work the policy from there. We've got policy up for second read, most likely be tabled so that we can look closer, okay? We basically want to reflect the values of our community, and I've said that since I've come on the board. And that's what we need to do. And I don't know what a policy will look like. Okay, if it was John's policy, you know what it would be. Okay, but it's not. It's the school board's policy, so it's going to be give and take. And if we do have a special meeting of sorts, I personally would welcome the Student Government Association from both schools to come and speak. Help us get this and get some buy-in from the students.
Absolutely, I would love that. Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely get that solved, and shoot me an email of when that may happen, and we can get that straightened out. I appreciate that, Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Cole. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, real quick. Everybody had valid points tonight. The data, Mr. Colick, that's why we did this. I think last month when we asked these ladies to put this survey out, I think part of the ask that we agreed upon was to have these ladies present some data and then perhaps give us some recommendations on how to massage the draft or the sample policy to something that fits the division. After 3 years up here, I've come to learn that they're certainly better suited to draft policies and recommend than any one of us are. Mr. Ford, you made a valid point when you said that protests are meant to be disruptive. I couldn't agree more. Policy or not, you adopt a policy. If you adopt a policy and it strictly prohibits a protest or a demonstration, call it whatever you want, it's not going to stop a student or a group of students from organizing a protest. It just won't. If someone is that passionate about a protest, they're going to do it regardless, which is one of the reasons why I kind of pushed back against the direction when this went down here at the high school. I didn't like the protest. I've been very vocal about that from the onset. I didn't think it was appropriate to do it in the school, regardless of the topic, because it goes against instruction. Yes, some of those young adults had the opportunity to voice their opinion, but there's also a bunch of young adults that didn't want anything to do with it, that perhaps felt like they were pressured into doing so. Or maybe they felt like if they didn't do it, they were instantly going to put themselves on an opposite viewpoint. You know, I try to think about my children. If my child didn't want to do it, whatever the topic is, it doesn't matter. If my child doesn't want to be involved, but all of her friends are doing it, well, now it's the cool thing. So either A, she gets on board as she does it, or B, she gets labeled as, you know, a naysayer. Either way, I don't think there's a right answer and a wrong answer here. But what I do know is that 46% of the people said it shouldn't happen during school hours, and 42% said it did, or it should, and 11.9% said they weren't sure. I'm probably more not sure than anything else. That's the honest to God truth. I don't know. And I'll leave you with this, Cole. I applaud you for having the fortitude to sit up here and speak your piece. You're red in the face. It's all good. It's a healthy discussion. I turned 50 years old Monday. And this is what I've come to learn. The world really hasn't changed. And I've come to learn that at 50 years old, you start to realize just how much you don't know. So that's my soapbox speech for the night. And that's no disrespect, young man. It just is what it is. As we grow, we learn. When I was 18, 19 years old, I thought I knew everything. I got a little bit older. And now here I am sitting up here at 50 years old, and I realize, man, I need to go talk to somebody that's old that's already been there and done that. So that's it. I'm done talking about this policy, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cole. Thank you, ladies. And next we'll have the operations update.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, operations update, we can pull that right up. And for this first slide, I want to ask Mr. Sumner to come up to the podium. Next slide. First, I want to talk about the multipurpose auxiliary building. This is a project at Windsor High School. And I just asked Mr. Sumner to come up for just a second because he is the wrestling coach at Windsor High School. How long have you been there, Mr. Sumner?
I started with Wight County Schools in the fall of 2017.
2017. And this was a brain creation that Mr. Bradshaw has been working on for quite so many years. He's led a very successful program in Windsor at Windsor High School for many years, and now he has worked with some of the community members to try to bring this to fruition. So this is the informational, just to let you know what's going on at Windsor with the multipurpose auxiliary building. Now, this project is not about a single program. It's about creating a multi-use facility that improves scheduling efficiency, enhances student safety, and supports multiple athletic and extracurricular programs. So, could you tell us a little bit about this building at this time, or
Sure.
the presentation of it?
Sure. First of all, before I start, thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board and Dr. Coleman for allowing me to speak on this. The purpose of the building that we are trying to do, as Dr. Coleman stated, as I am the head wrestling coach at Windsor High School, when I started this program, and I'm also a product of Windsor High School myself, it's a program that I have a large heart for because I always wanted to see wrestling in Windsor High, and then when given the opportunity, jumped on it. The building that we're here to talk about would provide space for the Windsor High School wrestling program, as well as we would be looking to share it with the cheerleading program. We are the two programs that currently do not have a dedicated space So the plans you see up on the screen would provide a building large enough to put 2 mats down simultaneously. It would mean that we could split that gym and be able to practice without interfering with other practices, such as basketball, that uses our main gym. And we would also be able to be on the Windsor High School grounds, which puts us close to our athletic trainer should safety needs arise and things of that nature.
And overall, he's working with community members, and we're not going to go into the details of what endorsements and what community organizations have actually written down in financial support for this program. So we're just right now explaining overall what's going on there, and we will be coming back to the board with more information as we move further in this project, get into the construction details, even seeking approval to move forward with this project. Are there any questions at this time concerning the auxiliary building for Windsor High School?
Mr. Marsh?
Coach, good to see you up here. This is
Sir,
a
good
couple
to see you.
years ago you came up here and you pitched this to Dr. Coleman and I. Was it last year or year before?
You and I and Dr. Coleman, I believe we spoke in private, not during the meeting, but yes, it was about 2 years ago when we started talking.
2 years ago, right? 2 years ago. So and we were, for the last couple of years, we've chomped away on fixing stuff that was broke. So this is, I think, a timely time to re-engage with this, and I appreciate you continuing to bang that drum. Where do you guys train today?
Well, that's actually on my notes, if I can go over with them a few minutes here. Some of our barriers would be our lack of space. We currently train at GTMS, and thank you very much to Ms. Luck and all of her staff for allowing us to do that. We have to move even over there, sometimes from the cafeteria to the gymnasium, based on if they have clubs running or if there's an event in the cafeteria, anything of that nature. We're always kind of hopping spaces wherever we can fit that day. The gym works okay, but if there's a club running, then we have to find another one. And when we do that, we go to the cafeteria at GTMS and we move all the tables and furniture and things to put the mat down. And our biggest concern is safety risk. If you know the architecture of GTMS, there's giant columns in the middle of the way that the structure had to be built, which means that we lose 2 sections of our 7-section mat, which eliminates quite a bit of square footage of safety net and safety spaces for the students. So that's my biggest concern, is to get them a proper training facility where we don't have to worry about health and safety.
Do you know if there's a similar space over here in Smithfield where the wrestling team can train?
Smithfield does have a dedicated training space. It is in their gymnasium. If you were to go up behind the bleachers, they have a room behind the bleachers where they have the walls large enough to put down. Their mat is a little more narrow. It's not as wide. Our mats are 42 by 42 feet. Theirs is a little more narrow but longer, so they have a space that's probably close to the size of about a mat and a half if you put it out. So they can get a little over the equivalent of a full mat, where we cannot get even one when we have to use the cafeteria.
Got it. I'm looking forward to see what you guys come up with. Maybe give Mrs. Outland a call and put a bug in her ear, 'cause she's got a special skill set for getting community support.
There you go.
That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Summer.
Thank you, Mr. Summer.
May I speak to one or two other things?
Right here, Mr. Summer.
Just one other thing this would solve, and I appreciate you guys giving me the time. Not only is it the safety part, but the storage of equipment and things that we have right now also means that we have things stored at GTMS, things stored at Windsor High School, and things stored in some of the classrooms even at Windsor High School, which could be some of the office spaces. And we're kind of at a disadvantage without this dedicated training space to local schools that do have it, not just on the northern end of the county here, but Lakeland, for example, and some other ones within about 20 or 30 minutes of us that do have those things. So those are some of the things that we had looked at. We won't have to travel back and forth, but my biggest one is, like I said, our athletic trainers at Windsor High School. So if somebody gets hurt, you have an injury, anything like that, we have to make a phone call to get her over there. And then you have time in between. So that would be the biggest thing that we're looking at. We just want to continue to support the successes we've had of our program, and I think we can do that more effectively with a dedicated space. So I appreciate you all taking the time to listen.
Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
And I will, go right
I
ahead.
do have one thing.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Summer.
Sorry about that. I'm sitting here looking at the drawings. I can look at this all day long, and I'm not going to understand because I don't know the current layout.
Okay.
Would it be possible to basically schedule a visit to come by and just do an eyes-on look at what you're talking about?
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to schedule a visit with you. Just send me an email and let me know when we can set up a date.
Will do.
And I'll be very happy to go over it.
Right, will do. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you once again. Next slide. Also, Mr. Chair, I want to just ensure that we're taking a peek at the fuel prices. The diesel fuel has risen over the last several weeks, and while fuel prices remain volatile, the transportation budget was intentionally structured to absorb these fluctuations. Now, at the time, we are taking a proactive approach to monitoring trends in real time and implementing fuel conservation strategies, shorter routes, quicker routes, different things of that nature to ensure that we remain fiscally disciplined. And when I say that it was intentionally structured, as you know, when you propose out diesel fuel, it's a little bit higher just for these situations. Now, at this time, we're doing okay, but I do want to err on the side of caution. If fuel prices continue to go up, we will be coming back with more information for you. But it is being monitored at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Next slide. Next slide. Fleet service building. We're progressing through value engineering, which we're still making sure that we are maximizing everything that we're going through right now through the engineering practices. Now, we're at 70% design completion, and the portion of the first round site plan still waiting on the EPQs. Department of Environmental Quality has approved the plans for stormwater management. So we're really working through those. We're at 70% and almost ready to release for the RFP. Next slide. And also, these are just some of the statistics where we stand at right now after the value engineering. We're still keeping the square footage, the space for all employees. We're still looking at the pre-constructed 6-bay for expansion, demand or delivery system, and of course, 3 sets of freestanding lifts, which was requested by the fleet service supervisor instead of the pits. So with that stated, that's the status of the fleet service project at this time. If there are no other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Please.
if I may respectfully disagree with you, Dr. Coleman.
Yes, sir.
I would say that the full status of the Fleet Services building is depending on our friends at the county as to whether or not they're going to be able to help us finish this project.
That is correct.
Yep. So last year budget cycle, they were gracious enough to award us 800,000 there and about to get to what we're doing today.
Right.
That was effectively the down payment on what we're looking at tonight. So
That is
we
correct.
should see what kind of direction we're going to move on that within the next month or so, I'd suppose. So,
Yeah.
thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Sure. All right, Dr. Coleman, report from the superintendent.
All right. Yes, absolutely. Where's the center? All right. Mr. Chair, report from the superintendent. If I can find my paperwork here. Where is it? The i-sle Awards. Can I find my, here we go. There we go, perfect. All right. i-sle Awards started off with the Inspire, Succeed, Lead, and Empower Award. In the first slide, we have the i-sle Award recipients, Ms. Debbie Prudent, retired IWCS employee and ERIP member. Succeed Award went to Kristen Fromella, Instructional Coordinator. The Lead Award went to Tracy Gilchrist, School Counselor at Hardy Elementary School. And the Empower Award went to Tracy Mackey and Renee Lewis, Store Manager and Employee of the Royal Farms in Smithfield, Virginia. Excellent. Transportation Employee Appreciation Lunch. On March 19th, IWCS recognized our transportation staff and an appreciation lunch held at Turner and 10. The event was catered by our culinary arts students who did an excellent job and provided a meaningful opportunity to show their own appreciation. Our transportation team plays a critical role in ensuring students arrive safely each day, and we are grateful for their continued dedication to our schools and students. Next is the Asynchronous Day in Professional Development. March 20th was an asynchronous day, giving students flexibility to learn at their own pace while building independence and time management skills. The day also provided dedicated, uninterrupted time for staff planning, grading, and professional growth. Elementary schools had parent-teacher conferences, while secondary staff and operations team were able to engage in meaningful professional development. Next is the Schoolhouse Museum Tour. On March 20th, our middle and high school history teachers participated in private tour of Schoolhouse Museum in Smithfield. The experience provided an opportunity to reflect on how history is interpreted and taught, while strengthening connections to our local community. We are grateful to the Museum Board for the invitation and extend a special thanks to Ms. Phyllis Wellens for sharing her time and expertise with all of the staff. Next is St. Luke's Education Center dedication. On March 26, IWCS joined St. Luke's for the dedication of newly updated Emily Korf Center of Discovery. The ceremony included a ribbon cutting led by the Korf family with our fourth grade students from Windsor Elementary in attendance. Following the event, students were the first to experience the center through a guided tour connecting classrooms learning with local and U.S. history. We appreciate our continued partnership with St. Luke's and their commitment to IWCS educational enrichment. Next is the CTE Reverse Job Fair. On March 27th, IWCS CTE students took center stage at the Reverse Job Fair, showcasing their skills and career goals in over 30 businesses, community partners. This student-led activity created a meaningful connection with highlighted the strength of our CTE programs and workforce pipelines. Thank you to our CTE staff for preparing students and to our partners for investing in their future. It is bright. Next is Sail 250, the Pride of Baltimore. IWCS is proud to announce a partnership with the Pride of Baltimore II, a 157-foot War of 1812 era topsail schooner that serves as a sailing ambassador for Maryland and Baltimore. As part of the Sail 250 Virginia celebration, through this program, our middle and high school students will engage with the ship and crew, exploring our middle and high school students' maritime history and America's path to independence. This experience will culminate with a student visit to the ship in Norfolk during the June 205th anniversary. It's a unique opportunity to connect classroom learning with the rich maritime heritage of our region. Gifted and talented. Last night, April 1st, we hosted our Gifted and Talented Night. Imagine at Georgie D. Tyler Middle School. The evening featured student projects, art displays, presentations, performances, and music and theater. It was a powerful showcase of the creativity, innovation, and talent across our schools. Events like this reflect our vision, creating a learning environment where every child can discover and develop their unique gifts and talents. Next is the American Welding Society presentation. On April 1st, American Welding Society Vice President Carrie Chattel and Mr. Lynn Showalter, Senior Welding Engineer at Huntington Ingalls Industries, Newport News Shipyard, visited Smithfield High School to speak with our welding students. They shared insights on career pathways, industry innovations, and their own personal journeys. While engaging directly with students, we are honored to have been selected as a stop during this visit and appreciate the opportunity for our students to learn from this national industrial leaders. Next is the new teacher cohort. Now, as we wrap up the year, our new teacher cohort celebrates a year of growth, reflection, and impact. Through collaboration, mentoring, and intentional professional learning, these educators have built strong foundations for their classrooms and their careers. We are proud of their dedication and the difference that they're making across IWCS. Next is technology completes the cybersecurity program. 3 IWCS technology staff members successfully completed a competitive grant-funded cybersecurity program through Radford University. And the Commonwealth Cyber Initiative, IWCS, was awarded 3 of only 33 seats statewide, highlighting our commitment to maintaining a secure digital environment. Participants earn college credit while strengthening skills in network security, threat identification, and risk management. Congratulations to Mr. Chris Fox, Brian Curry, and Mr. Eric Cooperrider on the success of their program. Fleet Service Internship. Now, IWCS is excited to introduce a new Fleet Service Internship opportunity for our students. This is a hands-on program, is open to rising seniors, and offers real-world experience working alongside our transportation technicians. Students will help maintain our fleet while building valuable skills in vehicle maintenance and problem solving. The internship runs up to 12 weeks at 28 hours per week with pay at $17 an hour. Applications are due by May 26. And lastly, Support Employees of the Year. We're proud to announce the return of our Support Employee of the Year program, recognizing the vital contributions of staff across our division, from office personnel to food service, transportation, and instructional support. These individuals help create a strong learning environment for our students. Congratulations to these year's honorees. One will be named our division-wide Support Employee of the Year later this month. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman. Next, we have action on closed session items. Personnel report.
I move to authorize the superintendent or the superintendent's designee. Okay, got you. Move to approve the personnel report as presented, a copy of which can be obtained from the school board clerk.
Second?
Okay, a motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Colick?
Yes. And next we'll have business matter 2026-04.
I move to authorize the superintendent or the superintendent's designee to execute the contract for the acquisition of land for new West Side Elementary, provided that the final agreement reflects the confirmed purchase consideration. Do I have a second?
Who was that? Was that Mr. Wooster? Oh,
I'll second.
Mr. Marsh.
We got a motion and a
Was it him?
second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Oh, Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Colick?
Yes. Okay, next we have the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as attached and presented.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Colick?
Yes. Next, we have policy for second read, JFBB.
I move to postpone the vote on policy JFBB pending further research into the implications and the specifics of said policy.
Second?
Okay, we have moved to table JFBB. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Colick?
Yes. And board members, with this one, how would we like to proceed? Would we want a work session? I think that might be beneficial. This is one of those few times where I think making the sausage in public might work well.
Mr. Chair, I think I've got a pretty good start on this. I would definitely recommend a work session and get a policy established where it encompasses everything that was listed in the survey as well.
I'd agree with that. I think we need to, really sit down and kind of make sure that the language that we have in this policy is appropriate. I think we need to also include our representation to make sure that if there's any legal ramifications for our decisions and the language in this policy, that it be reviewed and interrogated to really put us in a safe place. And I say that this is an important conversation, and we really don't want to end up on the wrong side of what the implications could be for passing a policy that infringes on student rights. So.
Mr. Ford, I agree 100%. And that's like I had mentioned previously in the other board meeting. Any policy that we come forward with this, I feel it should go for a legal review with our school board attorney.
Mr. Chair, I agree with all of that. I would suggest that before we form or call a work session, perhaps we give staff a chance to take a stab at it, unless there's any objection to that. Again, I think they're well suited to gin up the verbiage, probably better so than we are, and then we can change it however we see fit.
Well, I think we want to get this right, so I've got no issues with that. If the staff, wants to take a stab at it, and please try to incorporate the information that we got from the survey. Okay, that's data that we should be using.
And Mr. Chair, if that's your wish, the staff will take another look at it to try to prepare a template or something moving forward. I believe that, as you stated, the expertise is with the staff in terms of how to prepare this and even working out some of the details for that. So we will take a look at that.
Okay, great. For next month's meeting? Would that be too quick?
I will definitely, if possible, let me confer with Dr. Kramer, and then I will definitely get back to you on a definite time and date.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next we have board member comments. So we'll start, Brandy.
All right, I'll keep mine short. I've only got two. On March 19th, I got to attend the Smithfield High School Chorus Night on Broadway. I must say that Mrs. West did an excellent job with her students in preparation. And one thing I learned was apparently a good majority of the students were like first time on stage. So I was very impressed because that is more than likely the most difficult thing you can do is get on stage in front of everybody and perform for the first time. So just a congratulations to them. They did an excellent job. Also on March 1st, just to highlight what Dr. Coleman had stated, the reverse job fair was held where students could showcase, their work to prospective employers, gain knowledge in the employment field, potentially get job offers. That went very well. The only thing that I would recommend moving forward, and I don't know if it's even feasible, is it possible to have a 2-day event where you can break it up between classes held in Smithfield versus Windsor? Because I know one of the issues was a travel time, because there were some people that wanted to go to 2 events, but they were at different locations, and the travel time caused an issue. Is that even feasible to break it up over a 2-day period? I know that's more than a comment, it's a question, I apologize. Okay. Other than that, that's really all I've got.
Okay, Mr. Marsh.
Yes. I want to echo Dr. Coleman's comments about the gifted night.
I went last night to Georgie Tyler. I think that was the third time y'all have done that, yeah? It's outstanding. Kids did a great job. You got a lot of skills out there in these kids. If y'all haven't had a chance to attend one of those, get the next one. It's a neat, kind of to Mr. Wooster's point, putting these young kids up there in front of everyone at a table like this and having them display their work is, there's lessons learned from many different avenues. So it's all goodness. And a big shout out to all the central office staff. I lost count of how many of the CO staff I saw walking. They were in full force. So kudos to you folks and the teachers and everybody who made it happen. Good job on all. And then last, I did notice that Mr. Cooprider's out today. And I also noticed that with the short notice move, Mr. Robbins and Mr. Elliott and whoever else was involved made it happen seamless. So kudos to you folks working behind the scenes to make this a good meeting. Thank you. That's all I got, sir.
Okay, Mr. Ford.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chair. I just want to encourage the public and the constituents to keep a close eye on the developments of the school district. There are a lot of moving parts right now and a lot of changes that are being made to the education of your children. And I want to make sure that you all are well informed. So if you can, invite a person out to the next meeting so that we can be sure to share this information more efficiently. And thank you to all that put in hard work to present today and in all the other school board meetings. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm the last one. Since I've moved to Isle of Wight 5 years ago, I've probably had more health issues than the whole time that I've been alive. So my wife and I have decided we are looking for a new house, and we will be putting our house on the market in the very near future. And we're not looking in the Carsville district, so we will need someone from the Carsville district to start thinking about running for school board or requesting an appointment to the school board. I don't know exactly when I'm going to resign. It's probably going to be in the next 30 to 60 days. And but once I do, I will make the announcement public of that date, and then we'll just move forward. And so in case I forget to say this, when I do resign, I just want to thank everyone for your support, particularly all the central office staff who I have put through hell for the last 4 years. And I really appreciate everything you've done. But with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn.